Hey everybody, it's Mike from Cascades Auto Model Trains. Tonight I'm starting a new video series. It's going to be a Let's Build It type series. So a couple weeks ago I was on Heath's Modeling Monday, and yes, I am blaming Heath for this. He built a little cardboard and paper model shed, and it turns out I was looking for a similar structure to go onto one of my modules. And well, I decided to build one myself and I recorded it. So here is the finished product. This built the way I need it to be and the way I wanted it. So watch the rest of the video and see how I got to this point. Uh, Enjoy.
Alright, here's the kit I'm building. It is a GCLaser 0901 West End Shack. If you go over to Human City Junction, it's a He's YouTube channel there. He calls this the Love Shack, and he built this on over a couple of his modeling Mondays. And like I said earlier, it was the perfect little addition to a scene that I'm planning on for my one of my modules. So just kind of showing off the bits and pieces here. We'll make up the model. That was the actual cardboard forms. These are the roof shakes, and the last part we're going to see here is the actual detailed paper laminates for the wall pieces. So these make it look like it's actual a wooden shed. They're not just plain cardboard. You can actually see the little slats in there for the looks like a slat board that you'd put on siding on a house. Anyway, didn't want it all white, of course, so we needed to paint it up a little bit here. I chose to go with green and red for the trim, green for the main bits and pieces of it. So we're just gonna zip through it here really quick. I got it all sped up because I know you don't want to watch me paint every little bit and piece of this. Didn't want to bore you with that as well. Had to condense over 4 hours worth of video down into, it looks like I'm gonna get about 26 minutes. So there you go. There's the red all painted. Now I'm starting on the green. Now as you see me wiping the paint on the paper there before I put it onto the actual model, that's me drying the brush up a little bit. I wanted the paint to look a little distressed. I didn't want it to be a brand new shed. I wanted it to be an older shed. So I did a couple techniques. With the red looked really crisp and clear right after I painted it, even though I wiped the brush off. So I took a piece of paper and I rubbed the already wet paint to make it look a little distressed. So here we moved on to the building stage, and again I've sped it up because, well, it's kind of slow and boring. It was 4 hours of building, and I didn't think you guys need to see all of that. We're building the door right now. A lot of this is little fiddly work. The main door is 3 pieces. There's the inner door, outer door, and then there is a little piece of glass that fits in there. And you sandwich the glass in, it's not glass, but plastic. It's supposed to be a piece of glass. You sandwich it in between there. Gonna put a little wood glue. Instructions recommend using some wood glue, and I wipe it on with these little Q-tip things that I got off of Amazon. They're little Q-tip like brushes. Put the window in, put the door together. There's also a little itty bitty door handle that I glue on later on in the video, and then I lost it. But it's not that big of a deal. But here we go with the rest of the actual structure of the building. This is like I don't know if it's cardboard or fiberboard, but it's pretty nice material to work with, actually. I was rather impressed. It took to glue easy. and the laser cutting was dead on accurate. There was no, I didn't have to trim or file or do anything to any of the pieces. Everything fit together perfectly, and I was really impressed with that. And a lot of the detail in this little kit, there is a ton of little details. I mean, some of it was just even too small for the, what I needed. I wasn't. I put the little chimney in it. You'll see that later. But they had like a little electrical box that you could put on the outside, and then some little metal wire that you could use for the, like to go up above the roof for the, the electricity to come into the shed. I didn't want electricity in my shed, so I left it out. But yeah, I'm gonna stop talking here for a minute and let you guys continue watching, and I will speak up when some important stuff comes up. slow things down here for a bit. As you seen that last little clip, I got the siding all done. Here I'm going to put the threshold in for the door. This is kind of some of the little fiddly bits that this kit has. They're not too bad though. I mean, you got the window sills that they slide right into a little groove. The door sill comes in there. Here you go. You get a little bit, yeah, door sill. But you kind of see the distressing on the side of the paint there briefly. Let's make sure we get that all packed down and in there good and tight before we put the door on. I'm modeling mine with the door closed. It's actually kind of slightly propped open, but closed for the most part. It's just going to be a little like garden shed, and here you can see the one of the windowsills they just put in. It, like I said, they just slide right in. You put a little glue on the backside, and you call it a day. Let's check the instructions, see what's next. Yes, I do read instructions. I am good, but I am not so good that I don't need to read instructions. Alright, let's get it prepped and ready for the door. There's also little itty bitty stairs that lead up into the shed there. Now my parts tree for the paper pieces was missing the actual stairs themselves, but that's not that big of a deal. There is enough of the paper where you can just cut out, two little pieces right to length. I was also missing one of the little brackets that go up underneath the front door for the stairs. I had 2 of them. I needed 3. I just used 2. I didn't even bother making one. On his setup, he had to actually make them. He had 1, and he was supposed to have 3, so he ended up just making them. And you see I put a little glue around where the door sill goes. Oops, dropped it. And here we go, just setting it nice and neat in place. I'm using tweezers to push down the edge. Yes, the door will open. It's actually got little hinges, and you can actually pose it with the door open or closed. So there's an actual door frame that goes on this thing. It's really neat. I really was impressed by the high detail on this kit, and I will look into some of their other kits in the future. So you might see me building another one of these GCLaser kits in the future. I do need some houses for one of my modules. So far I got a farmhouse and a barn, which is going on one module. I got a couple of kits that I'm going to build, and we'll take you with on the video. You see that little yellowish square there? I kind of painted it like it's a beige color. Oh, and there's the little stair pieces there underneath the door as well. So that little piece of wood I left kind of pine colored, and the chimney comes out of that, and then there's little stair pieces. Let's see here. Am I starting on the roof? I am starting on the roof. So we're cutting out the roof panels. I've already got the brace in at the peak of the roof, but we're going to be putting the roof panels on here shortly, and then we're going to go with the shingles. So sit back and enjoy some more music, and we'll be back in a little bit. going to start on the roof. The roof has got all these little paper shakes. They kind of got little square teeth in them. What you're going to want to do is you're going to have, just like roofing for real, I used to do this when I was younger, is the first course you put on upside down or backwards with the actual shingles facing the wrong direction, and that provides a like if so it's real. Say it's real. The water as it comes off, if it falls in between the shakes, it's going to get onto the wood. It's going to rot the wood. So you turn the first course backwards so that the water all has a place to go and run off. So you're going to do the same thing here. The first course goes on backwards, and then directly on top of that, you put the next course on regular with the shakes facing down. And then you're going to overlap each layer going up all the way up the roof. And what I did is I used two different sizes of panels here. One size is the exact length of the roof, so I didn't have to trim any. And the next one is one shake wider. That way I could offset them so that the shakes were not directly lined up with each other. And it was every other course had, one using the regular roof-sized one, and then one using the slightly larger one, back and forth, and that way each course of shakes overlaps the other. This one was kind of fiddly. You could only put on like 3 or 4 courses. Then you had to let the glue dry because everything was, if you started doing too many of them, it was too wet and things would start shifting around. Like if you're going to adjust the next course and you went to slide it back and forth to line it up, well, the course below it might be moving as well. So I did 3 or 4 courses and I let it dry. Did 3 or 4 more, let it dry, kind of rinse and repeat all the way up the roof. And here's a progress report. Got all the shingles on, got the ridge cap on, and unfortunately it just looks just too brand new up there. Give you a little tour of the shed, and we're going to continue on and start with some of the detail work. I believe we do the chimney next. Actually no, excuse me, I'm corrected. We're going to paint the edges of the around the roof there, so where we trimmed the shakes off and the edges of the overall roof, I'm going to paint them the same color as the rest of the trim. They're going to be red. I don't do the sides because the sides are going to be hard to see. We're going to be viewing this from the top down, and the way they were just sitting in there, I didn't think we needed to do it, but I did the ridge up on both the front and the rear, painted it red, and yeah. So, who here likes rust? Well, rust in your car, not a good thing. Rusted pipes, not a good thing. But when it comes to model railroading, rust is a good thing. We paint our rails rusty. We do a couple other things like that. And in this case, we are going to make the oil tank that is on the side of the shed look a little rusty. So I'm gonna have I used some brown and some orange, mixed it together here, and it actually looks like a pretty convincing color of rust. I was very pleased with the way it came out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm taking a wide brush, and again I'm making it dry, and then we're going to take and just gently dry brush some of this brown rust color onto the oil tank, mainly starting at the top where it's going to get the most water. It's where it's going to be dripping off the roof onto it and dripping down the sides. And I'm going to have the rust is going to be a little more intense near the top, and then kind of gradually, just like what we do with our rail cars. You know how we start with them rusting at the top and then streak it down the body of the cars. Well, I'm doing that here with this oil tank. So here we go. You can see how it's starting to turn out. Rust on the top. Still not happy with the way it is yet. I'm going to get a little bit more on the back side and make the back side look right. And then get a little bit more dripping down the sides. So there's the finished product. It's all nice and rusty. Just like it would be if it's been sitting outside for a while. Now at this point the roof is still brand new looking, so we're gonna take and age the roof. You can see I already did half of it there. Sorry it's a little off camera. You can kind of see what I'm doing up in the top part of the screen. The paint is it's actually the same color I used for the siding. That color makes a pretty convincing moss color. So what I did is I took the paint and 1 or 2 drops of paint, mixed in with a couple of drops of water, and thinned it out really good so that it's more of a wash than it is an actual paint. And that way you can still see a bit of the brown come through for the shakes. And then I kind of dry brush it on again, even though it's thinned out. That way I don't make it too thick or too wet, being this is a paper model. Alright, there you go. Well, I hope you all enjoyed my little series here, and stay tuned and look forward to many more. And when you get a chance to pop over to Heath's Human City Junction, give me a like and subscribe, do the same for him, and thank you for watching.